Rob, we want to thank you for making time to join us for our COP26 Youth Summit. We wanted to ask if you could just introduce yourself, please. Tell us your name and your background and how you got to become the first person in history to walk to both poles, please.
Well, at the age of 11, hi Sat, I saw a film, and everything to do with life has got to be to have a dream, however small or however big that dream is. And I had this really stupid dream, let's be honest, to walk to the North and South Poles, because I'd read history books about this extraordinary place, the South Pole. And eventually, after years and years and years, we made that, not me, we made that dream happen. And our little ship went all the way from England. We dropped in at Cape Town, South Africa. We went on to Australia and then literally went off the map from New Zealand down to the Antarctic. And we made that dream come true, Sat. I did become the first person to walk to the North and South Poles.
That's amazing. And would you be able to tell us about sort of what your experience was about seeing the effects of climate change in the Antarctic and on all your following expeditions as well, please?
Well, I think that, as a young man, I never had heard of the word sustainability, the environment, climate change. My mission was to get to the South Pole and nothing else really mattered. But on those journeys, we experienced a few things that really shocked us. Even then, Antarctica, the great ice continent where 90% of the world's ice is, a lot of ice, twice the size of Australia, we saw melting. And then we went to the North Pole at the top of the world. We were walking across a frozen sea. So it's a bit like going down to Cape Town docks in South Africa and getting onto an ocean that's frozen and then walking for, 1,000 kilometers out to sea. That's what it's like walking to the North Pole. You're going across a frozen ocean, and that ocean decided to melt when we were 700 miles away from land, and hell, we all nearly drowned, we nearly died. So I came back from both poles thinking, hey, these places are trying to tell us something. And, if we melt the Antarctic and the Arctic, most of the world would be swimming. So it started me thinking that maybe I should do something about it. And as you know, Sat, I decided that I would try and focus on the whole issue of young people and how they felt about these issues.
Thank you, Robin. So with young people on the call today hearing your message, you kindly took me to Antarctica over 10 years ago, and you brought young people from all over the world, from South Africa as well. Could you tell us a bit about your mission with 2041 and the preservation of Antarctica, and how you want to engage young people with this issue?
Well, I think what's really important is that, you came on our expedition to Antarctica, and your life wasn't exactly in the best shape, was it? You were going through a tough time with your life and your family and your background and your future. It didn't look too good. And I also, on your expedition, had Eric Barfo, who comes from a township just outside Cape Town, who'd actually made a big voyage on a yacht with us. He'd never actually been sailing before that. Incredible. He became one of the first of 5 people ever to have circumnavigated from Cape Town around the whole of the top of Africa. Our expeditions aren't just about trying to preserve Antarctica. They're all about trying to give people some hope, because I know young people, especially who having a rough time like you were, Sat, or somebody coming from a township near Cape Town, environment isn't exactly top of the agenda. Maybe survival is, maybe getting a job is, maybe getting something to eat is. Just everyday life is enough of a challenge. What I try to do is to say, look, environment is everything. It's yourself. So you've got to look after yourself. You've got to be thinking about where you want to go in life and get some leadership skills, get some inspiration, to make your life better. And not forgetting, and we do know this, Sat, that, when we knew each other and you were on the expedition, words like COVID, we'd never heard of them, had we? And now the whole world's been affected by COVID when we never thought something like that would happen. So I think my message to young people, it doesn't matter where they come from, is have a dream, hang on to that dream, look after yourself, and see that looking after our world and looking after yourself is pretty much the same thing. And it's important that we think about our planet, because, if we raise sea level, if we carry on the way we are, life will only get worse. And maybe getting a job that has something to do with the environment is actually not a bad thing to look at as a dream and something that you might be able to do. So yes, long term, we've got to make sure we preserve Antarctica, but short term, think about yourself, make a success of your life, and hang on in there is my message.
Oh, thank you for that, Rob. That was brilliant. And the last one was about the COP26 Summit is coming up. We're doing a youth summit that we're going to be showing to young people. What would your message be for the young people about speaking to maybe their MP or parliamentaries, whether it's in South Africa, in the UK, or wherever they are? What message? Why is it so important for young people to take this issue up with the leaders in where they live? And what could we do this year as well, being such an important one with COP26?
Well, I think this is a huge moment of our world, because all of us, it doesn't matter whether, my sister, by the way, everybody in she lives in Cape Town, and her house, which she rents, just a small little house up there on Table Mountain, she was like half a mile away from being completely burnt out. Cape Town nearly ran out of water about, 2 years ago. Everybody on the planet has seen fires, floods, changes in climate, which are dangerous. People die. So we've all seen it. And I think COP26 is a moment where hopefully all these leaders who are meant to be leading us, are actually making some decisions which will help our future. So COP26 is a big one. And I think what's important for young people to realize is that we can't just be angry. Now, if I was your age, I'd be pretty upset about the state of the planet that my generation and all the other old people have left you. I'm really sorry. I've tried my best, but it's not looking too good. But my suggestion to you all is be positive. Nothing in life ever goes anywhere by just being angry. It doesn't move things on. So my suggestion is let's look at solutions. We all know there's problems. We all know that, we need to do something, but let's focus on what we can do. Let's be positive and really think about our lives. If somebody like Eric from a township in South Africa can get onto a boat, sail around the whole of Africa, do a lot of great work with young people, and then join you, Sat, on a ship to the Antarctic. He wasn't a special guy. He just was determined to do something with his life. So my message to you all is look after yourselves, make your dreams come true, and let's kick our leaders into action, because they really need to get to grips with the solutions for climate change. We can't just all focus on what's wrong. Let's look at what's right. Well, Sat, you might think about my connection with the great country of South Africa. Well, when I was 17, I had a bit of an argument with my father, who was telling me what to do with my life. And I said, no, I'm going to run my own life. So I got onto a ship and sailed all the way from England to Cape Town on my own, and didn't have much money. And I got a job working as a taxi driver on the docks in Cape Town. And in those days, there was a really stupid thing going on in South Africa called apartheid, which actually meant I couldn't sit on a park bench, with somebody who wasn't the same color as me. But in the docks, interesting, when I was driving my taxi at night, apartheid and those things didn't exist. It just wasn't part of the culture in the docks of Cape Town. And I got to know some fantastic people, whether they were white, black, brown, orange, green, it didn't matter. And I saw a fantastic side of South Africa. And it was a bit rough at my age there, driving a dock in the docks, got knocked around a bit. And then I'd saved up enough money, and I bought myself, don't laugh everybody in Cape Town, I bought myself a bicycle, and I went on a bicycle all the way from Cape Town, South Africa, to Cairo in Egypt. And I'd saved $800 US dollars, and that $800 had to last me on my own on a bicycle, nearly 6,000 miles, all the way to Cairo. And it took me 8 months to make that journey on the bicycle. And I have to say, I never rode a bicycle for a very long time after going from Cape Town to Cairo on a bicycle. But that had always been a little dream I had. And I have to say that after about, halfway to Johannesburg, I was starting to think, is this really what I want to do? But as usual, completed that mission. And I love South Africa. It's a great country. And I wish everybody there all the very, very best wishes from me. And I look forward, when this COVID thing's gone, to possibly coming to visit you all there in Cape Town. Take care, be safe. This is Rob Swan, message ends.